Hello and welcome to Bernama Property Hot Seat presented by Sun Surya. I'm Vincent and with me is my co-host Tristan. Together with us today is our Honourable Chief Minister of Penang, Yang Amat Berhormat Chow Yeow. Welcome CM, welcome to our show.
Thank you, Vincent, for having me here at the Property Hot Seat.
Yes.
Yeah, welcome, B. It's always an honor to always have you here because being a Penangite myself, it's close to my heart to know what's happening in Penang.
Thank you, Chris, for having me too.
Sure.
I'd like to see how we can interact on Penang issues.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes. Now CM, you are leading one of the most aggressive and progressive state in Malaysia. And Penang, I should say that it's a state full of a lot of challenges, a lot of controversies. And yet, with many good development news happening every now and then. Now CM, let's begin with the questions. So the first question, CM, is tell us more about Penang Vision 2030. And what are the focuses and the confirmed details so far that property investors, landowners, and property developers need to know in relation to this Vision 2030?
Penang 2030 was conceptualized a few months after I came in as the fifth Chief Minister of Penang to focus our attention on what we have to do. We all know that there was a political change. There were so many Chief Minister, Menteri Besar, and so many ministers. And in Penang, we were a little bit lucky because we are into our third term. So I thought that I need to introduce a vision so that the government, the private sector, and the community needs to be aware of what I and the state government plan to do for the next 10 to 12 years. And basically, we want it to be a bottom-up plan. We have many engagement exercise to receive feedback from the community, from the private sectors. And we have 4 teams within the Penang 2030 vision, which is a family-focused, green and smart state that inspires the nation, hopefully.
All right.
And basically, we want to bring Penang up to the next level of development, focusing on the team and the various strategic initiatives. And at the bottom, there will be a lot of opportunity for all of us to see how we can fit our plan, our program, our project according to the various strategic initiative. And then if we achieve this strategic initiative through project, program, and even policies, step by step, I think we will be able to achieve some of the strategic initiative and ultimately the team and then the vision. So
property developers and investors should take note of this. You mentioned about making Penang, one of the vision is green and smart city. Now CM, is the execution of transport-oriented development, TOD, a preferred development model for Penang moving forward?
I think there had been some discussion about TOD even a few years ago.
Yes.
As we are working on the Penang Transport Master Plan, there is definitely opportunity for us to align TOD into the LRT project, so that land around the station can be developed, and also it may result in some funding for the infrastructure project, whether it's during construction or in the future for maintenance.
So that will be exciting for property developers.
So, YB, I mean, you're on the media stating that, you know, the LRT project have not been approved yet. You know, what are the challenges? That's number one. Number two is that would you consider BRT, you know, bus rail transit, as a substitute?
We are open to whether it is LRT or BRT. But I think our preference is elevated, dedicated line
Sure.
of LRT or
Right.
even a BRT, because we understand that if we are to co-share the road with other mode of transport, it will create havoc in Penang,
Sure.
in view of the narrow streets that we see in Penang. Yes, I think we are still waiting for approval for the railway scheme that we have submitted to SPAD in the
Right,
past,
right.
and now APAD. I think it boils down to political reason. Recently, we are happy that finally the Minister of Transport had directed APAD to process our
Sure.
application,
Okay.
which we have submitted 2 years ago.
Okay.
But under the
But he's
previous
a good friend, isn't it?
under the previous government, I think
Right.
our application was not even looked into,
Right.
not processed.
Okay.
Until recently, they came to Penang, the
Okay.
APAD team came to Penang.
Sure.
It's sort of, only now they are looking and processing our application,
Sure.
and hopefully we are still awaiting for
So
the
we're looking
good
at
news.
this year?
In fact, hopefully within the first half of this year, hopefully.
Right.
So that's a very good news actually for the property landowners and actually to Penangites itself. Everyone in Penang itself will be looking forward to this kind of transformation. So since we touched on that, and of course, CM, you have always been advocating in making Penang a more livable city, and we have touched on the execution of Penang Transportation Master Plan because of a few of the items we mentioned. Now, Penang Island Link, new major roads, LRT, and overseas tunnel to the mainland these are all part of the master plan. Now, CM, please tell us more about the status now. And of course, very importantly, is how is the funding model? Where would your money come from? But first, update us a little bit about these projects and where would this funding model?
Okay, Vincent, we have just dealt with the LRT.
Yes.
APAD is now processing
Okay.
our application, giving advice as to the alignment and also the location of the station.
Okay.
I believe they will make a decision soon,
Okay.
hopefully giving us a conditional approval so that we can work on more details and even the funding model.
Yes.
With regard to the PIL, the Penang Island Link,
Yes.
we are awaiting the EIA Environmental Impact Assessment approval, and I hope to announce the result very soon.
Okay.
As soon as we receive the confirmation
Yes.
from the Environment Department,
Okay.
we will be announcing the result, hopefully in the very near future.
Yeah.
I think the Penang Transport Master Plan has another component, the 3 major roads
Okay.
and the undersea tunnel.
Yep.
For the 3 major roads, the company has already obtained the EIA about 2 years
Okay.
ago.
Okay.
And under the EIA requirement, they have to start work within 2 years of approval. And that date is actually November this year.
I see.
Sure.
So we are now targeting to start the first package 31st of August.
All right.
At this moment, we are waiting for the agreement to be finalized. And then with that, we can start off. With regard to the funding model,
Yeah.
the first packages of 3 major roads and undersea tunnel, we all know by now it is to be financed by the land that are being reclaimed by E&O.
Okay.
And the land will be made available, I think, within this year itself.
Okay.
So definitely for the 3 major roads, one will be starting in August.
Okay. This is a very good news. Okay, CM, please hold on to your thoughts. We will resume our discussion once we come back from the break.
Nak cari hadiah untuk Hari Ibu Bapa? Ada Jintel. Jintel Display Star dengan teknologi Moon Hand Massage yang terkini memberi urutan yang menyenangkan dan selesa. Sesuai untuk ibu bapa kesayangan anda. Bawa Jintel balik rumah, ibu dan ayah pasti suka.
Jintel.
Welcome back to Bernama Property Hot Seat, presented by Sun Surya. Chris and Vincent here, and along with us we have our guest of today, which is the Chief Minister of Penang, Yang Amat Berhormat, Chow Yeow. Now back to our hot seat.
Yeah.
Now, YB, at 1.7 million population, Penang State as its own, is Penang now experiencing what we call oversupply of housing, given that NAPEC have recently reported an overhang situation in Penang? So is the projected population growth considered in this incoming supply as we are looking at it now?
Looking at population growth,
Yeah.
it is natural that each year there
Yep.
had to be a supply of about 2,000-3,000 houses in Penang to
Right.
meet with the population growth.
Right.
I think the market is soft last year, this year, and there is an overhang about 2,000 units of property in Penang. But I believe it is mostly in the higher price bracket.
Okay.
So I think in Penang, the government still focuses attention on meeting the needs of low and medium housing,
Yeah.
Sure.
which I think we are meeting the needs. In certain districts, actually, there are no demand for low cost and low medium cost housing. Maybe on the island, the needs is higher, and therefore we need to look at allowing Northeast District applicants to be awarded houses in the Southwest District,
Yep.
so that their needs
Within
can
the
be
state,
met within the island.
within the island itself.
And then there is an affordable units
Yeah.
which we introduced
Yeah.
even before the National Affordable Housing
Policy, yeah.
Okay.
And this has been able to meet the needs of those that are unable to qualify for the lower bracket,
Right.
but yet cannot afford the higher bracket. So that niche market can be filled by this affordable housing policy. And I think there are so many units available now, and we have been approving a lot of such
So,
projects.
CM, talking about that, now very interestingly, recently State Exco YB Jadip Singh indicated that approximately 30,000 units of affordable homes has been built since 2008. 23,000 units being built now, and 48,000 units have been approved to be built. Now that's a total of 100,000 units of affordable stocks in the near future. While we of course applaud Penang State for taking such a great initiative compared to many other states in building affordable homes, now there seems to be a valid concern in the oversupply of these affordable homes. What's your take on this? Are you building too many? Are you really building too many? Would there be oversupply?
I think there is always a time for review according to the market situation. As you say that about 20 over thousands have been built.
Yes.
And then another 70,000 approved to be built. But out of the approved to be built, how many will actually be built is subjected to the market situation.
Okay.
Developer can slow down.
All right.
And if they think that this is not the appropriate time for them to launch new project, they can hold on their approval for another 2 years, 3 years,
All right.
so that when the market is more conducive,
Yes.
they can launch this project. So
Okay.
I think it is time for review, even for the state government. Maybe our EXCO had been pushing it very hard.
Yes.
That's why we see so many approval over the last 2 years.
Correct, and which is why ended up
yeah.
non-Penang people, non-Penang gates also get to buy
So
right
I
now.
think developer must be able to assess the market situation.
Sure.
And if the market is not conducive, maybe hold on the approval.
Okay, fine.
And then launch it at an
We see your
appropriate time.
So YB, you're saying that it's still predominantly market driven,
Yeah.
and there's a review happening. So that's a good news, because then we will then looking at this oversupply thing could be warm down a bit. But let's go to another issue that is closer to my heart. I said with Batu Kawan at this moment, and also the 3 reclaimed island in the south.
Yes.
So Penang growth, are we sure in looking at gravitating towards the south, being the key economic driver now?
I have said before becoming Chief Minister that the future of Penang is in Seberang Perai, because understanding Penang Island, it has reached a point of saturation in terms of land available for new development. But of course, the southern reclaimed island proposal will meet some of this need into the future, into the next 50 years. We are not talking about immediate. So if that lands are made available, I think we will be able to cater to development in Penang. But for Seberang Perai, in particular Batu Kawan, yes, the focus is in Batu Kawan and the south. And that is where lands are available. But come a time, it would also reach saturation point.
No, YB, that's what I want to say. What about the north then?
Yes.
Because you have an undersea tunnel there. That's have always been your agenda.
We have start looking at the north. In fact, just in recent week, I have directed PDC, the Penang Development Corporation, to start thinking about the north. I mean, just now we said that come a time in 5 years, 10 years, whatever land that is made available in the south will be developed. So it is about time that we focus our attention, and with the undersea tunnel, it is prudent
to be there.
Yeah, prudence for us to look at.
Okay, so if I can summarize for you, YB, you are talking about south first, north later. At this moment, we are coming back. It's getting exciting. So YB, hold on to your thought, and then we will come back after this.
Nak cari hadiah untuk Hari Ibu Bapa? Ada Jintel. Jintel Display Star dengan teknologi Moon Hand Massage yang terkini memberi urutan yang menyenangkan dan selesa. Sesuai untuk ibu bapa kesayangan anda. Bawa Jintel balik rumah, ibu dan ayah pasti suka.
Jintel.
Welcome back to Bernama Property Hot Seat presented by Sun Surya. For those who have just tuned in, Vincent and Chris here today, together with our Honourable Chief Minister of Penang, Yang Amat Berhormat Chow Yeow. Now back to our hot seat, CM.
Listen.
Now, CM, Penang International Airport is at its maximum capacity now. Now, what's the expansion plan? And the fact that Kulim will soon have an international airport, is this complementary or is this actually a competition? You mentioned recently that it requires serious consideration. You also mentioned recently proposing a new international airport in the man-made island next to Batu Mau. Why? This is all about airport. Tell us.
I think we all know that airport is a catalyst of growth,
Yes.
and that's why it's so important. In Penang, in particular, our focus at the moment is to get the expansion of Bayang Lepas, which
Okay.
is overdue.
All right.
And hopefully the Ministry of Transport will make a firm decision as to the project. I understand that a team of consultants are already working on the expansion to meet a 12 million passenger per year capacity, and maybe boosting it up to 16 million passenger per annum. But I will have to wait for the good news from the ministry as to the actual plan. But anyway, I'm happy that it is on the table and awaiting for a
So
decision.
that's your Penang. What about Kulim? Are you happy with the Kulim?
I think if you ask me now, definitely a study needs to be done as to whether it is needed at this juncture.
Okay.
But if you ask me whether it is needed the next 30 years, I would think that it is a serious question that we need to consider.
Okay.
Imagine 30 years, even with the current expansion project, how long will it last? Maybe 10, 15 years. And you have to think about the possibility of another airport, understanding the constraint, the physical constraint of Bayang Lepas itself.
Okay.
And if it is needed, then it has to build.
All right.
That's why we are also proposing whether on the reclaimed island, it is possible and feasible to have an entirely new airport replacing Bayang Lepas.
Okay, fine. I think that's tourism already.
I mean, think about this. I mean, since you talk about tourist arrival, therefore airport is important.
Yeah.
So Malaysia have always, I mean, not
Yeah.
Penang for that matter, have always been a tourism hotspot. You know, we have the World Heritage Site and everything else, so it's always interesting. So two things I really want to know. Number one, is there any retail property that actually investor can invest in for tourism related? What happened to Airbnb? Is it legal, not legal? How is your enforcement there? And the third one is MM2H, and how's that doing?
I think medical tourism is something that we still promote very strongly, and we are the number one in the country in terms of number and in terms of revenue. But I think we do face a problem of new hospital being proposed, whether the Ministry of Health can grant a license to operate, and I hope that it is a very a sector that has great potential for Malaysia, and I hope that the government can be open about that. It is not going to take away the rights of the local people, but our target is medical tourists. Therefore, I hope that the ministry can consider some of the applications coming from Penang. With regard to Airbnb, I think it's not a new issue. I think the whole country, whole world is facing this issue. I think in Malaysia there is a need for legislation, hopefully.
Which we don't have at the moment,
at the national level, so that we can control maybe the number of days.
But what's the state government state?
We have tried our best, and I think we wait for a federal legislation so that we can streamline our action with regard to Airbnb.
So what about Malaysia, my second home?
We are still an attractive location of choice for Malaysian second home. Hopefully, I mean, there is a sizable of MM2H coming into Penang to purchase property. I think there is ample property of choice for them to make their decision.
Is it still the number one destination, right?
Recently, I have not got the latest figure.
But have all along been the top choice.
The preferred, the top choice.
An attractive location.
So CM, basically, I will summarize and take your point just now about some medical new hospitals itself to enhance so that it can be built in order to also enhance the attractiveness and the strength of Penang as one of the key medical tourism area itself. Now that the federal government is already under Pakatan itself, I would think that it should not be the issue for the Ministry of Health to quickly and approve and support and really enhance this positioning. Now the other key question is this now. Now CM, Penang is often compared to Singapore in terms of connectivity and livability. How will Penang of 2030 compared to Singapore of today?
I don't think we are trying to be another Singapore. I think we are far from it.
Yep.
In terms of population, we are very small compared to Singapore.
Yes.
We are happy to be a state that can provide sustainability, high level of livability, and what we have, I think, to be a smart and green state.
Okay.
That will make us very, very happy, I think. We do not aspire to be Singapore or Dubai or any city that of that nature, I think.
Okay, so which means that basically, even though you did the Penang State, your officials have done a lot of study of Singapore itself, it's for references, but you have your view that you want to position Penang separately, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Now, thank you, CM. It has been a great session with you today. It's a very good half an hour session with you. We are very thankful with your insights of Penang. You're actually the first Chief Minister of Menteri Besar that is on our show itself. Right. Thank you for watching Bernama Property Hot Seat, presented by Sun Surya. If you have any questions that you would like our VIP or the government to answer, please email to bernamaproperty@gmail.com. Join us next week for another VIP taking our hot seat. Vincent and Chris signing out.